The Middle East is on the brink of major shifts, and every move could alter the region's future. Here's your daily strat update. Iran has delayed its direct attack on Israel due to several temporary factors, including ongoing ceasefire and hostage talks, the U.S. Israeli deterrent posture, and internal Iranian planning. However, these factors will eventually dissipate, increasing the likelihood of an Iranian strike. U.S. President Biden has suggested that a ceasefire and hostage deal could delay or prevent an attack. The U.S. has also communicated to Iran that any attack on Israel would trigger a significant Israeli military response. Despite these warnings, Iran might be using the delay to plan and coordinate a more effective strike. The U.S. military posture in the Middle East is intended to deter Iranian aggression, but it comes at a cost. Maintaining this deterrent posture indefinitely would require shifting U.S. global priorities, which currently focus on China and Russia as greater threats. The U.S. has 2 carrier strike groups in the Middle East and none in the Western Pacific, indicating a strategic trade-off. If the U.S. reduces its presence in the region, it could increase the likelihood of an Iranian attack on Israel, potentially destabilizing the region further. This tension between deterrence and strategic priorities remains unresolved. Hamas, facing diminishing capabilities to attack Israel directly, has reportedly decided to begin targeting Israeli civilians abroad. The group's ability to launch attacks from Gaza has been significantly reduced due to Israeli operations that have destroyed much of Hamas's rocket supply. With traditional tactics like suicide bombings and rocket attacks becoming less viable, Hamas may now collaborate with Iran to target Israelis overseas. This shift in strategy underscores the group's desperation and the potential for increased violence in regions outside the immediate conflict zone, further complicating efforts to stabilize the Middle East. Ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas have made progress, but significant disagreements remain. Hamas has rejected key elements of the latest U.S. bridging proposal, including provisions that allow for an Israeli military presence at key crossings and the exile of freed Palestinian prisoners. While both sides appear willing to resolve some differences, the issue of Israeli control over certain areas remains a major sticking point. The outcome of these negotiations will have significant implications for the future stability of Gaza and the broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Some Iranian-backed Iraqi militias have agreed to temporarily refrain from attacking U.S. forces, according to reports from Iraqi government advisors. This de-escalation comes after recent rocket attacks that injured U.S. personnel. Iraqi Prime Minister Soudani has been mediating between the U.S. and these militias, seeking to prevent further escalation. However, militia leaders have indicated that this pause in attacks may be temporary, and they remain committed to expelling U.S. forces from the region. This situation remains highly volatile, with the potential for renewed violence at any moment. The Israeli Defense Forces continue their operations in Gaza, targeting Hamas infrastructure and militant positions. Recent airstrikes have hit command centers, weapons depots, and rocket launch sites. Ground forces are also conducting clearing operations in key areas like Khan Yunis and Rafah, where they have destroyed tunnels and engaged in heavy fighting. These operations aim to weaken Hamas's military capabilities and reassert Israeli control over strategic areas. Despite these efforts, Palestinian militias continue to launch mortar and rocket attacks, indicating that the conflict is far from over. Iranian security forces have arrested 14 members of the Islamic State Khorasan province, a branch of ISIS operating in Afghanistan. The arrests took place across several provinces in Iran, and the suspects were reportedly planning terrorist operations during the Arbaeen pilgrimage. This development highlights the ongoing threat posed by extremist groups in the region and Iran's efforts to counter them. The Islamic State Khorasan province has been responsible for several major attacks in Iran in recent years, and its presence remains a significant concern for Iranian authorities.